I think we'll just move on to the question and answer session, right, sir?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
so, but before that, I'll just conclude. I think the first session is by now over. So a question answer session would follow. But I'll just say that upon reflections of the three presentations, what we could see is that the presenters have identified three things, particularly when you look at the judgments of the Supreme Court, that there is a non-understanding of constitutional justice or constitutional morality, which can be seen in few of the judgments pronounced by the courts. One. Second is that there is also an existence of an idea of Savarna religious justice or Savarna morality, which is existing, that is being reflected in the judgments. And also the idea of individuality, the liberty and the dignity of the individual has not been taken into account in its proper sense, and more significance is attributed to the group or caste part within the society that is reflected in the judgments. And moreover, a particular caste is being, or that caste system is being given significance. This is reflected from Professor Kanja Ilaya's presentation. And whereas moving on, Wilson Beswada has identified a few problems which is existing in the group of manual scavengers. And the most important is the language problem. So they use vernacular language, and the English as the medium of court language has created significant problem for access to justice. And there is also non-understanding of law being technical. And also there is lack of knowledge due to non-inclusion in schools of all these values which we are talking about. Then again, he was referring to the problem of hunger and the lack of knowledge of constitutional justice as well. So certain experiences has been identified. And when moving on to the presentation of Mohan Gopal sir, he has is very, very expressive of ideas through his own terminologies. Like he was identifying two systems of justice, like Savarna system and Swaraj system. And according to him, what is predominant in Indian cultural context is the Savarna system, and that is being reflected in the increased violence from caste oppressors and non-understanding of what values has to be adopted for addressing the caste-marginalized communities. Though we have a constitutional scheme of protection for the caste-marginalized. And he also identified a number of judgments reflecting Brahmanical ideology-oriented jurisprudence. So this is the gist of the presentation. So we'll be reflecting upon it in the coming sessions as well. So I think we'll move on for, sir, we'll move on for the question answer session. And I request Gopal sir to switch off the mics of whoever is not speaking.
Yes, yes.
So the forum is open for questions.
May I have the very senior advocate, Mr. B.K. Biran, and so Mr. Haji Abdullah Kuti are here, and if they would like to comment or ask any question, we would be very happy. If I may suggest, Mr. Vidyut.
Yes, yes, definitely, sir.
Sir, Professor Mohan Gopal's speech was very exactly. It was really a lesson for us, because he marshaled every step of this development of judicial system, and ultimately he described Justice Amir Ali's judgments and views with regard to the suppression of Dalits and Adivasis and other marginalized class. Thank you, sir, very much.
Thank you, sir. Abdullah Kuti, Haji Abdullah Kuti would like to say.
Sir, unfortunately, I joined late, so I couldn't grasp more. But I am very much impressed from the conclusions referred by the commentator here. And since Biran Sahib has expressed some remarks, I have nothing to add at this point.
Thank you, sir. And we will have we have another opportunity later. Now, Dr. Sunny Kapikad may have any comments that they would wish to address to Mr. Wilson Bezwada or Professor Kanchailaya before they.
No, I don't have any comments. I think it was very impressive with the kind of overview that they gave. But I have nothing to add. I'm really impressed with the coverage of the issues that the people face.
Sir, actually, Sanyam Kapikad has not got connected. So I request you to just call him so that I have tried, but in fact, he's not picking up. I do not know whether there is any, since he's in the hospital.
Problem. Yes. Yeah. I will call him.
Tried more than 5 times, but he's not picking up. So I do not know whether any questions from anyone.
So thank you, sir. I say thank you, sir.
Oh.
I would like to request Mr. Wilson ji and Kancha ji to give us some any concluding thoughts with you before we move to the next session.
Sir, just I want to make one point which Professor Mohan Gopal has mentioned about the caste panchayat which we talked. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We can hear. You can proceed with.
Yeah, caste panchayats are we call that as a katta panchayat or something in the South India. See, the Dalits are not better kind of a justice than the caste panchayat even in the judiciary system. When the caste panchayat, where they know very clear, the dominant people, the rich, the whoever is there in the village, they will be always making allegations against the Dalits and the poor and the women. And everybody will believe that the Dalits will definitely, they will rob, they will steal or something. And even the Katta Panchayat or the Caste Panchayat, nobody will think, will not. How can we suspect lie? The same mindset is now reached to the judiciary also. Judiciary also thinking that Dalits means they will be like this, one understanding. So that we are, unfortunately, we are not breaking. And at the level of the village, definitely the untouchables, the Adivasis and the OBCs, they don't get the justice at all. So they used to always expect to go to the up to the collector, district level at least. So where there will be some sensible people. That it become like others. Now there is no justice anywhere. So the Hathras case also. So, state buried in the night and nobody is asking why. So there are the many things to discuss like this, but we have to really understand we have not enhanced our justice system from the caste panchayat to equal justice system.
Correct.
Thank you, sir. So, Professor Kancha Ilaya, any concluding remarks from your side? Please. Your microphone is muted, sir. Please unmute your microphone.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes, okay.
Is it
Thank
okay? See, what we heard in this session is that there is a deep caste problem in the judiciary, both at the higher level and medium level, down at the municipal level. I think at the municipal levels, there is some justice happening because of state government appointments, reservations, and Shudra existence, and the Dvija existence along with them as a balancing factor. As you move upwards, high courts and Supreme Court, the Brahminical order gets more and more strengthened, and it is religiously very systematically trained. It is family influence, institutional influence. So maybe we'll have to look for two strategies. One, the immediate problems that we are thinking, like, what Bejawada is saying, and how to get justice in this issue, that issue, is one dimension. But I think the problem is not going to be solved there. A massive number of youth must be from Dalit, Adivasi, and backward, and also even the Shudra, conscious Shudra. Justice Chenap Reddy is a Reddy. Jeevan Reddy was a Reddy. Sudarshan Reddy was a Reddy. They all were more sensible in many ways. So occasionally there could be a judge like Krishna Iyer, who coming from the Brahminic background with some sense of people's rights, but that is weakening more and more. So my view is that, see, the language question, we should not give away English to them. It cannot be removed. Therefore, the only option is all our children from tribal areas to villages to universities have to be brought into English medium. So massive movements need to be started for English medium education in government schools. We have seen in this area that judges, lawyers, judicial persons who put their children in high-class English medium were opposing English medium to government educated rural poor. So there is a diabolism problem here, there is hypocrisy problem here, there is a skillful management of their hegemony continuing there. Therefore, English has to be Indianized and completely declassized and made accessible to everyone. That Madhya Pradesh man is right. If you speak to constable in English, he will not stop you on the road. If you speak to him in Malayalam, Telugu, Tamil, he will stop you. So that's how the ruling educated English class get anything that they want. Therefore, English has to be massized now. That is only the way. And the syllabus structure in the law colleges must be carefully looked at. A lot of writing has to go on that. We should evolve syllabus, suggest what kind of, for example, this whole question of God's justice, God creating all human beings equal, God never creating caste, dignity of labor issue. Okay, whether it is toilet cleaning in this worst form or flushing or technology growing. My understanding is unless the mass Dalit Bahujan Adivasi masses come into modern higher education, our technology also won't grow. We'll have to depend on West. And tomorrow we'll have to depend on China. Therefore, we'll have to, a lot of people need to work on writing text, that too in English. The regional language centrality does not work. I think a lot of things need to be done, both the levels. Every day, seeking solutions to everyday problems as of now, but training the Adivasi, Dalit, OBC, and the Shudra, even conscious Shudra forces into the judicial process in a big way with a philosophy of our own. Unless we have an alternative philosophy, we can't do that. See, the cow nationalism can be countered only with buffalo nationalism. There is no other way. Therefore, you all have to think in those terms, and biomedia solutions are not there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Kancha. Wilson ji is traveling and his battery died, so he had to get off. But I think we have a very rich set of materials, and I think we have identified, as Professor Kancha has said, a very huge issue for, in terms of the extreme gulf between the reality of caste and the recognition of it by the legal system. Whereas Article 39A of the Constitution, the state shall ensure that the operation of the legal system shall ensure justice on the basis of on the basis of equal opportunity. And so we are, does that justice include caste justice? And is caste justice, how do we frame caste justice? And we as legal academics, one of the big problems is that we as legal academics have not put the issue of caste into the study of law or the research of law. And all lawyers and all future justices are in the legal academy. And so the bar and the bench are naturally not sensitized during their education to look at this issue. I remember 20 years ago when I was at the National Law School, Professor Kancha came and made many lectures which were very effective in communicating to the students about these issues. But those were isolated lectures. I started a center at the National Law School called Caste, Communalism and the Law, and it was later merged into a social exclusion or some center which was started, you were also involved with that, by the UGC, whereas I created that center because I thought that center could become a basis for systematically looking at issues of casteism and casteism, communalism and the law, because I believe that communalism arises because the dominant castes want to divert the attention of the lower of the oppressed castes away from their plight and the responsibility of the dominant caste towards a minority as responsible for their plight. And so that's why there is a link between casteism and communalism, as we all know. So we have that center did not survive; it was closed down. There is no other. That was the first, and to my knowledge, the last center that by name was focused on the issue of casteism in legal education. So we need to work together to do more research on this, produce more data, more evidence, more writing, and bring this into the legal education agenda, and then into the judicial education agenda, into the bar, continuous legal training, and we would then start to see some change. In addition to, I totally agree in strengthening and deepening reservations within the judiciary and in all segments of the legal and judicial system, including in legal education, so that the legal system becomes representative of the people of the country. We must also, from the point of view of the legal system, seek to identify better answer better the question, what is caste, and how do we deal with it? Why should we deal with it separately from a legal point of view? And what is our approach to understanding and resolving this problem? So I think we have made a very good beginning, sir, Professor Kancha, for what I think is a very important. We'll write this up over the next few days, the main points that we discussed, and then send it to you as a draft. And after getting input from you, in our name, not implicating anyone, we will circulate the results of this discussion to some of the judges and legal academics so that they will become aware of this.